Welcome back to Royal Productions, where your mind is your crown. My name is Louis, and basically what we do here is cover crypto news, blockchain, anything to do with the new digital age of our financial infrastructure. Now, without any further ado, let's get right into these crypto market prices I have for you, and then we'll jump right into the news. So the total crypto market sitting at 2.26 trillion. Fear and greed index sitting at 40. It's kind of at a neutral right now. People don't know which way to go. It's kind of on the lower end. Checking out these prices really quick. Bitcoin 66,000, Ethereum 1934, BNB 576, XRP 113, Solana 78. If you guys want to see the rest of these prices, you can pause it really quick, look at the screen. All right, moving on. We're going to cover some of this Bitcoin price in a minute. It looks like we're actually headed towards this major point that I want to talk to you guys about, but let's cover these articles really quick. Crypto market rally on Clarity progress report, while Asian chips stocks rebound. Okay, now that first article and this article go hand in hand, but basically Clarity odds jump to 43% on Polymarket after unverified reports Trump agreed to ethics deal. Sorry. Next one I have for you guys. UK Parliament begins inquiry into bank choke point for crypto businesses. So they're setting up this group. Well, the APPG is focused on the banks that refuse crypto firms accounts and introduce restrictions on crypto transactions, and that's starting today. So they create this little task force, so they look at these banks, they get a report, and they figure out what they need to do next, but we'll cover that in a second. Inside Cardano's Van Rosen hard fork and what it means for users, and this is huge. Stick around because this is how I think the future of businesses and blockchains and just different protocols will operate when it comes to like consensus and people voting. The people who are actually part of the protocol, they're the ones who get to decide what happens to that protocol. Okay, moving on. Exodus to cut 25% of global workforce and payments shift. Okay, so the headline kind of tells you what it is, but we'll cover that in a second. Stick around. All right. AI compute stocks bounce as Hut 8 Irene lands billions in new contracts. So AI, it seems like have its bad days, but when it rebounds, it rebounds. Okay, look at this major facility. We're gonna cover all that coming up next. Alrighty, first article I have for you guys. Crypto market rally on Clarity progress report. Asian chip stocks rebound. Speculations that President Donald Trump agreed to a crucial ethics provision for the crypto market structure bill underpinned the gains. So basically, Bitcoin climbed to 66,000 as broader cryptocurrency rallied as reports suggest President Donald Trump agreed to a key ethical provision, clearing the way for the U.S. Clarity Act in the Senate, and AI-related stocks rose in Asia. So remember, I've told you guys this before. Whenever anything happens with crypto, AI is hand in hand with crypto. You can't have crypto without AI. And to be honest, there's no point of having AI without crypto because they go hand in hand. The blockchain, how it works, how it speaks to each other, like the language, they just go hand in hand. Maybe you could have AI without crypto, but at the end of the day, when we're talking about transactions, when we're talking about like lightning speed and these protocols and things working at faster speeds than what humans can compute, we're going to need it for transactions. We're going to need it for real world assets and stuff like that. Derivatives data shows rising open interest and a call heavy options activity in Bitcoin and Ethereum, alongside broad-based inflows into major altcoins. Solana's tokenized asset volume hit a record in the second quarter amid rapid growth in real-world asset tokenization, underscoring institutional adoption. So this is the biggest part right here, underscoring institutional adoption with the Clarity Act and what's going on. This just gives the big players the okay to start actually playing in this market like hardcore. Like they've been playing in the market softball, but now it's time. Once the Clarity Act moves ahead, it is time to actually start doing things. And we haven't really seen nothing yet. The total crypto market is 2.26 trillion. That is nothing when we're talking about institutional grade adoption. Okay, so make sure you guys check out the articles for yourself. Always do your own research. Okay, moving on. Clarity app odds jumped to 43% on Polymarket after unverified report. So basically, if you guys aren't into Polymarket, it is a futures contract type of place where you vote on the futures of what's going to happen. It's not just sports. There's everything, as you guys can see here. The Clarity Act is also on there. So Polymarket traders sharply increased the implied odds that the Clarity Act will become law this year after reports that President Trump accepted the ethical provision that had stalled the bill. So basically, I think this is what stalled the bill. But remember, to me, it's all theater, but we'll see. Major tokens including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP recorded gains following the Polymarket movement, though traders largely attributed the rally to strength in AI and semiconductor stocks. So like I said before, like the AI is very important when it comes to this market, okay? So remember, look at these articles, check out what it means for you and your reality, okay? Moving on. Okay, UK Parliament begins inquiry into banking choke point for crypto businesses. So basically, the UK Crypto and Digital Asset All Parties Parliament Group, APPG, is focusing on banks that refuse crypto firms accounts and or introduce restrictions on crypto transactions. So basically, they're starting this report, and I think it's a good thing because they're moving into why companies did this, and they're actually looking at the laws and reasoning behind certain banks and why they did certain things, so they can get an overall perspective. Because remember, digital assets and blockchain is a whole different ball game. Some banks think it's okay, some banks don't think it's okay, so it's based off what the risk for that bank and what they're doing. So basically, the UK politicians want to know the extent to which the country's banks have choked off cryptocurrencies firms by refusing them bank accounts and introducing restrictions on crypto related payments, and the cross-party inquiry kicked off Tuesday as of today. So I think this is good. They're accumulating that data so then they can do something official with it, like something real kind of like our Clarity Act. You kind of have to know and communicate with these banks and people who actually are in charge of these major sectors in your country. So I think this is good for the parliament, but it's neither here nor there. They're still dealing with their own stuff, just like we are with the Clarity Act. Okay, moving on. Inside Cardano's Van Rosen hard fork and what it means for users. So I think this is huge. The Van Rosen hard fork moved Cardano to version 11 on Saturday, and is the first time Cardano's community voted in the upgrade, not the company that built it. So I think this is the future. Like I said in the beginning, this is the future of how companies are going to be ran, because like with the AI, with voting, and how everything is just almost seamless now. You can see all the transactions. It's a level playing field. You can see who voted for what to an extent. It basically gives the users who are using that platform more of a say-so than the people who actually built it, like it said up here. So basically, Cardano's Van Rosen hard fork activated on July 18th, moving the network to protocol version 11 and lowering smart contracts extension cost while preparing for a future scalability upgrade. So they're still working on an upgrade, but what happens is this lowers the smart contract execution cost, which is important when it comes to blockchain. Smart contracts are kind of tied into like tokenization and real world assets and things of that nature. So smart contracts are important. Say for instance, kind of like a future. Imagine someone is growing oranges. The smart contract would say, hey, I need 300,000 pounds of oranges by this time. And if you're able to do that, then the contract will go through. It's all online, it's visible, you can see if they did. So when they say a level playing field, you're either about it or you're not about it. You're able to fulfill the contract or not. And I think we're going to move into the age where, you know how they have a global ID, well, a company also has an ID based off how they operate and if they're able to conduct their business correctly with these smart contracts and with these futures and with these different things, to the point where if you don't have the capital, then you're not moving correctly in this game. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you understand where they're trying to go, then you'll understand the steps they'll take to get there. Okay. All right. Exodus to cut 25% of global workforce and payment shift. So let's scroll down here. Exodus is laying off 25% of its global workforce, reducing the cost while pivoting its business focus towards stablecoin payments and card infrastructure. And we just covered the stablecoins and stuff like that. This restructuring is part of the strategy to build a full stack payment platform following the company's acquisition of Manavet and Benax. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, let me know. The company anticipates 10 million to 13 million in annual cash operating expenses savings by 2027, with restructuring changes of 3.5 million. So this is huge when you talk about them laying off people, and you got to think about why are they laying off people. AI, we just covered that, but this is going to save them and also help them accumulate a lot more cash when operating their company. So this is a good and a bad thing, but at the end of the day, a lot of companies are going to the payment capabilities and international footprint. Okay, a lot of companies are working on this. When we say a level playing field, you can't have a walled garden. Has to be interoperable with the rest of the world. So this is a good and a bad thing. Just be aware of what's happening, especially if you work for a company like this and you see them trying to move into a different, type of game, you would say, because it's all a game at the end of the day. All right, last article I have for you guys today. AI compute stocks bounce as Hut 8 Irene lands billions in new contracts. So we've covered this before. If you guys don't know what this is, go back and look at what Irene is and what they've done and what they do. And basically, Hut 8 shares jumped as much as 17% Monday after a company signed a 9.8 billion 15-year lease for the second phase of Beacon Point AI data center campus in Texas. So 15 years, you can look at the outlook. Where do you think this is going to be in 15 years? That's the point about, like, these articles are giving you signals on what they're doing, what they're talking about, and how the future of things go. Remember, always read the articles on your own and figure out what it means. Okay, my name is Louis. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. I'm out of here until tomorrow. Peace.